We're at TVLine's Comic-Con Suite with Damon Lindelof. Welcome.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
I want to start with The Leftovers. It's about a month since the finale?
Who's counting? Yeah,
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
With some distance from it and the reaction, what are your thoughts just about the whole experience?
I just start with saying I couldn't ask for a better outcome. I feel like, people really understood the finale, and although there was a range of interpretation sort of surrounding it, I think everybody was really comfortable with some degree of purposeful ambiguity, which was the thing that I was the most worried about. And just in terms of like, oh God, it doesn't feel like it's satisfying. The unsatisfying adjective is not the thing that I wanted to have put on The Leftovers. And it's been a tremendous relief that it at least here we are 6 weeks out. You never know. Opinion shifts over time, but that's been really great.
It was not a polarizing finale. I mean, almost universally it was beloved.
Oh, thanks.
It's sort of dissimilar to your last experience,
Yes,
which was somewhat
definitely
polarizing.
yes.
Does having that experience make this one make you appreciate it more, enjoy it more, because it's not something that everybody has, like where you have that kind of universal acclaim?
I have a sense of perspective. I have something to compare it to, so I can appreciate it a lot more having had the other experience. But I also think the comparison of the two shows, putting aside the creative, but just the idea of what Lost was and how big it was, and that it was on the air for 6 years and 121 episodes. And The Leftovers is much smaller, more intimate show, a different trajectory. It wasn't a hit by any metric. I think that I viewed them as very different children, but I can also say I was very conscious and conscientious about the Lost finale and the reaction to the Lost finale as we were talking about the Leftovers finale. And so the Leftovers finale wouldn't have been what it was had Lost never occurred. So I'm deeply indebted to the previous show, because it sort of I was able to learn from it and move forward. So I wouldn't say that the Leftovers is a reaction to Lost, but it's certainly an extension of it and related to it.
The Leftovers was trending on Twitter Emmy morning.
Oh, really?
Maybe perhaps not for the reason you would have hoped.
Yeah.
However, how does it feel that there was such an angry outcry over the perceived snub?
It's an honor to just be snubbed. I think that there's so much great television now, and I think that certainly for the first season of Leftovers, it wasn't really even in the conversation. In the second season, it started to move into think that there's some great performances, and certainly I started to hear Mimi's name more, and people were acknowledging the writing, and so it was like, okay, people are really sort of understanding the show and understanding that it's improved, and certainly the critical community really embraced it. And then in the third season, I think particularly because we aired, right up into the Emmy voting, I wish that I could say that I don't care about that stuff, but the Emmys are a big deal. I follow them. It's the validation of your peers. I'm voting for the shows that I love and all that stuff. So, but I will say that on Emmy morning, the most surprising thing for me was how unsurprised I was at the result. I was sort of like, oh, we were a dark horse all along, and that's what being a dark horse is, which means it's highly unlikely that you're going to crack through. And we all have to basically accept that the Emmys tend to embrace the new. The first season shows, the out-of-the-gate spectacular things like Stranger Things or Handmaids or The Crown, all of which, This Is Us, all who deserve to be in that category. And they also embrace the shows that have been in that category before. And The Leftovers was neither of those things. And I think when you see a show like The Americans kind of breaking through, it took them 4 seasons to do that. Even Friday Night Lights, I don't think got any serious Emmy attention until like its final season. Buffy, same thing. So it's like so many of these shows that I completely and totally adore really didn't get Emmy attention, and I don't think that's the same as being snubbed. I'm not saying this because it's the politic thing to say, but I look at the nominees and I think that the Emmys just got a lot of things right, and so it's really hard for me to say they got all these things right except they left The Leftovers out. It's just a tremendous tremendously competitive field, and I just got so many wonderful texts and emails on that day sort of celebrating the show, and so I'm totally cool with it. And go Ann Dowd, because she's the one, over the 3 years, the one Emmy nomination that we have is Ann Dowd, and that feels exactly right to me.